Special guest with me today, Joe Eaton.
Joe Eaton.
Dr. Joe Eaton.
Yep.
How are you doing today, Joe?
I'm actually recovering from 2 nasty falls, but
Oh, my God.
I got a little extra help from the PSWs, and I'm doing fine. They're really, really good. So they make me do what I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
And within a few days now, I'll be back to where I was before.
Yeah. Was this a few days ago?
Yes, I had 2 in quick succession.
Oh, my God.
And I don't know whether you believe me, but I have a smartwatch, and it said to me twice, you are walking unsteadily. You are likely to have a fall. On my wristwatch.
It gave you a heads up saying you're likely to have a fall because you were walking too much.
Well, I was walking unsteadily.
Oh, unsteadily. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That should have been the thing, then fall.
Oh, God. Well, that's crazy that the technology works like that now, that it's...
Well, I was surprised.
Yeah.
It also told me once when my pulse went below 40.
Oh, okay.
Just once.
Yeah, it gives you a warning. Did you have to do anything after that? You were just...
No.
No?
Leave it alone.
Oh, okay.
But it just to let me know.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Well, I'm glad you're okay after recovering from these falls. That's terrible.
Yeah, I seem to recover from all these things.
Yeah. Yeah, you bounce back. That's
I've
good.
no right to be 90
Yeah.
because all the things I've had, my ancestors have all died. I think the highest we got prior to me was 64, and that was because I put him on a trial I took him across the country.
Yeah.
He was so weak after a heart attack that he couldn't even get up to here to go to there.
So you're one of the longest holding ones in your family. Your ancestors didn't get anywhere close to 90.
No.
Wow. Good for you.
So
Well, you look great for 90, for sure. You look great regardless, but...
I had a fellow that was nearly 90. Oh, he was over 90.
Yep.
And it was interesting because he was he was booked to go on the Titanic with the family,
Oh, my God.
and they were told they couldn't get on. And that was it.
Well, that was
he
lucky that he
survived.
couldn't
Yeah.
get on. Who is
Yeah.
this, sorry?
This was a patient of mine.
A patient.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he looked like nothing at all. He looked like he was 55 almost. His inside was well over 100.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Why was that? Why was he...
He's just got beautiful skin, and he was a farmer.
Okay.
And he looked really, really good.
Yeah.
But don't go to Florida. You'll finish up with a double or triple or quadruple bypass.
Oh, God. So how many years were you a doctor for?
From 1957 till 1997.
Wow. It's a good 40 years.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And you did it, you were in the Niagara region, right?
From 1965.
Where were you before? Oh, you were from England.
England. And then the medical service got worse and worse. Then the government separated us into general practice, hospital, public health. That meant that I couldn't do anything. Really, that was interesting. Well, I can tell you when I came here, if you were my patient and you developed appendicitis, I'd call one of the surgeons and say, I've got this fella. Oh, I'm okay. Bring him over right away. And I'll be there to assist at the operation.
Right.
Yeah. So what's wrong with that?
Right.
Can't do that now.
So you were kind of fed up with how it was going in England, and you decided to come to Canada?
Yeah, and it was fine over here.
Right.
Everything was nice and healthy.
Can you tell me about when we were just walking in, the lady that manages this here at Carmel, she was saying that you saved someone's life that was here?
Oh, not here.
Okay.
No. I had a little. Well, it was one of one of my books, where something peeved me, and I changed my table, um, and I also changed another table because of what was happening and how there was something I just didn't want to hear again.
Right.
Certain words. So I moved. Well, I had to go, and eventually I got to the table I'm at now, and I hadn't been sitting there for 3 minutes, and this young lady came in and said, "Do you remember Brenda?" I said, "Brenda Ball?" "Yeah." She said, "You remember you saved my life?" "Oh, yes."
Wow. How did you save her life?
Well, she was one of these people. I thought maybe it couldn't be in winter, but in winter we'd get babies, and I'd go around and check them, even though I wasn't asked to, because I noticed a lot of them. I just examined the chest, and it would be full of water. And then coming from England, I had a low reading thermometer, and I'd check their temperature, and
Right.
it would be very low.
Oh.
Not high, just very
Right.
low.
Right.
And then I would get them to see a pediatrician right away.
Oh, okay.
But it was asymptomatic.
Yeah.
They looked fine. Now, she was different. When I examined her, for no reason, she was asymptomatic. But I said, I just put my stethoscope on,
Yeah.
and it's full of water. And I took a temperature. It was normal. So anyhow, I sent her in, and the doctor called me afterwards. She said, "Yeah, that's a new one for you, isn't it?" And I said, "Yeah." "What is it?" He said, "She's got a very difficult heart condition,
Right.
which will take a lot of looking after."
Oh.
So I was looking after from that point forward.
As she was a baby, and you looked after her for.
Yeah, because she had to be looked after very carefully
Right.
until she was fit or old enough to have that particular surgery.
Yeah.
And then a little afterwards, and then it was forgotten.
So did you perform certain type of surgeries more than others? Is there something that you specialized in as a doctor?
Not really. I did minor surgery, which my main thing really with wounds and things is I didn't like scars
Right.
on myself or anybody else.
Okay.
And so I concentrated on, when I finished the work, I made it so that you hardly see a scar, if anything.
Mm.
That was part of the work, not the what was going on inside.
Okay.
But well, I suppose a lot of the other stuff was delivering babies,
Yeah.
looking after mom,
Yeah.
and explaining, if this happened, don't worry, that's to protect the baby.
Right. So what is it? Was it a very rewarding career?
Yeah, not in money particularly. That's
That'd be surprising. As a doctor, you'd think.
well, I'll tell you an example. The day that I started here, for a simple call, like a sore throat or something,
Right.
you'd get $6, and that would be from PSI or one of the insurance companies.
Mm.
When I retired, the fee was $13 and something. Now, this is after 57 years of something like that over here.
Yeah.
Well, when I came here, I could buy a decent car for $2,500. What would it cost you in 97?
Yeah.
But that's one of the things wrong with medicine. The nurses are really abused. All the others can go and give all kinds of reasons to get a good result to the
Right.
thing. They go on strike, and yet people looking after me, 18 cents an hour. Come on.
Yeah.
It
That's crazy.
is ridiculous. Nurses, they worked until they were worked to death because they know, and you government knows
Right.
that we can't go on strike.
Yeah.
When I was first in medical school, I had a tutor, and he said to me, "There are three things you must observe." He said, "First, you must not do abortions." Okay. And the second one is never remove your services from any of your patients. Uh-huh. And what's the third one? He said, "Don't mess about with lousy females." That was the truth.
Those are the three rules.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So,
did you always abide by all three? Especially
yes,
three?
yes, certainly. Well, I'm being looked after by my dear father, who had draconian ideas of discipline. He was a military man. There's a photograph in there of him when he was 23 in Egypt at Royal Horse Artillery. And if somebody was coming, he didn't say who's there, friend or foe. No, if they didn't answer and kept coming forwards, he would fire. And he was so accurate with a revolver, he could hit the middle, hit the ear if he wanted to.
Oh my God.
So that stopped them.
Yeah.
Or if they didn't, they kept coming.
Yeah.
That would be it.
Wow.
There's a photograph there in 1929.
Yeah, you have to show me that.
23 years old.
Wow. That's crazy.
But he knew what was going to happen. They were going to try to get him, and then they would go and kill all the sleeping people, all the sleeping soldiers.
Right.
So that's
a tough job that he had then.
Yeah.
Wow.
There are always enemies.
Oh, of course. Always enemies.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you a bit about your book. Can you tell me a bit about your book? What inspired you to write it, and what the general premise is, what it's about?
Well, as I said, I was a wreck, absolute wreck, and I couldn't do anything. I think I had, after my wife died, I think I had 9 days of 24-hour care from the PSWs. They couldn't leave me, because I was dreaming all kinds of things at night, you know.
You're in a dark place?
Well, not too dark, but I was imagining we had a shop in this place, you know.
Yeah.
From my bedroom. And just got the girls to stay with me all night and all day. I had someone. And then my daughter was talking to someone at church, and this woman's mother had been doing what I think this daughter had got for her, and it's called Storyworth. And what they do is give you a way to write a book,
right?
Get some sort of life into your brain. You have to start thinking, because I think on the fourth question, I had to go back 80 years or so, you know.
Right.
So
it really gets your mind firing, and okay, yeah. and it gives you something else to focus on too, something to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I got into it, you know, I was talking to my friends about it here, and they were, "What's coming up on Monday? Let me know." And they were all interested. And then when we got to the end, and I said, "It's going to be published now." Whoa, we want to see that in the flesh, you know. And
that's cool.
I've got 3 books circulating all the time.
Yeah.
And the poor folks in Niagara, I gave them the book. I gave them the other book, the regular book, which is exactly the same words and things, just pictures.
Right.
And they went through it, and everything seemed to be okay, because it's a historical church.
Right.
Not church, library.
Okay.
And so heritage.
Yeah.
So then I said, okay, I'll give you the new book. So the new book arrived on the 2nd of September. Not too long ago, it had disappeared. Just gone missing.
Yeah.
So it's still, anyhow, I got another book for them, and that arrived on September 25th.
Okay.
I have had a note to say it has arrived,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it's in circulation yet. But I mean, this has been going on since April, and I don't know what goes on. I mean, she was really upset. She lost the book.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And had no idea what happened to her.
Yeah.
And this thing's happened. And probably somebody has just taken it.
Yeah.
And she was, I think, worried about talking to me about it.
Yeah.
You know, so that we've got to find it. We've got to find it.
Yeah.
And
What are some of your favorite stories from the book that you told in there? Can you give me an example of one?
But the one I get the most pleasure from is the one that makes me cry more.
Which one?
That's about my wife.
Yeah.
What she did. What was your wife to you as a doctor's wife, a regular wife, and as a mum. And that one, so much that she did for me, because I was basically a very shy person, and not doing very much. I would get along, you know. And then she took me over. We got married.
Yeah.
I was still 3 years when I met her. I still had 3 years of med school,
Right.
and then internship to go through. We decided in 1954 that was the time to get married. 56, sorry.
56. Yeah.
I met her in 54,
Okay.
and she made a thing. She said after she was pregnant for the first time. She said, nursing is going on the back burner, and I'm going to bring up children and a husband. And what she transformed me from was a shy person, madly in love with her, but what she needed was a person that was a loving person to me and the kids,
Right.
so that they could depend on me anytime. And she wanted me the same with the kids, because so many things in my book will tell you. There were vote was taken, or whatever you call it, but it said that 99% of doctors' wives felt neglected and felt that this was perhaps 1975.
Right.
And that their practice was their mistress.
They were always involved in it. It's such a demanding career, so it makes sense that
because
that
you're always
exists.
necessary, and the nurses are always necessary.
Right.
And because of that, they can't strike.
Right.
The nurses are limited to no more than 1% a year, and all the others may go in for 12%. You see, that just amazes me.
Wow. Oh.
There's probably an awful lot of money spent on it. And we got a beautiful hospital there, and go in as an elective patient, get surgery. Everything was perfect.
Yeah.
But emergency is just, well, you got cubicles with the monitoring thing. Well, no, they have to have two in there because it's so busy.
Right.
So people are going. Well, in the old days, if somebody got giddiness and vomiting at 12 or 2 in the morning, they'd send for me, and I'd go and I'd fix it and go home. Jeez. They didn't have to move from the beds.
Yeah.
Right now, I am, the doctor that I have, no problems at all.
Right.
She's got my 3 things that I think a doctor should have: ability, affability, and availability.
What was the second one, sorry?
Affability.
Affability, yeah.
And availability.
Yeah.
And she's also taken the extra stuff that I took in England for family medicine.
Yeah.
The College of Family Practice. Yeah. So, but think she's made one house call I can remember
Yeah.
for my wife. But you see, in the old days, I would be put on a sort of list to pop in every so often, see how I was doing. But not anymore,
Yeah.
because all we do now is an office, sit in
Right.
an office.
Right.
Now, my doctor will perform surgery on me, minor surgery. I had one here that she found out was very likely to be malignant. And it was. Now I'm on anticoagulants. So the surgeon said, you have to be off them for 5 days. And I said, no, I can't.
Right.
I could check my cardiologist. He said, the only time you stop them for 2 days is when what you've got is probably almost certain death if you don't
Right.
have it.
Yeah.
And he said, no. He said, if you don't do anything, the cancer of your arm won't. He said, you'll live till you're 92.
Yeah.
And he said, that won't kill you.
Oh my God.
So he said, don't bother. So I went and got radiotherapy.
Yeah.
And 4 weeks of radiotherapy.
Jeez.
Oops.
That's okay. I wanted to ask you kind of back to your relationship with your wife, and what would you say is a key to having a good relationship, a good long relationship with the spouse? You gave an example of your wife saying that, she would, putting the family first almost, and is that kind of what you would say, or is there any other pieces of advice that you would say that made your relationship the way it was?
First, I say that the man, they're both supposed to be in love when you get married.
Yeah.
But there's a sort of 3 months of glory, and then sometimes it
The honeymoon phase, and then it pitters off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In our case, we were smitten immediately, but I had met the person earlier in emergency when I got a shot in my own bottom.
That's how you met her?
I didn't meet her.
Oh.
No, I didn't even notice her.
Oh.
I don't look at nurses or anything.
But she was the one that gave you the shot in your butt?
She remembered me. I didn't remember her. But anyhow, that's one of the things that when I met her, there were so many things. The book has got it all down. When I met her, there was no reason why I should have gone out that night. I had no money. Well, I had 9pence, but I was broke.
Right.
I was shilling for the nurses' dance that one of my colleagues asked, come to the nurses' dance.
Right.
Okay. So he said, I'll give you'll be pillion. So you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we went there, and when we entered, we put our coats away, and I looked, and there was a little interval, and I saw her sitting at the end there.
Yeah.
And I went and I sat opposite for the moment, and I was very bold that night. As soon as she had looked at me, I smiled, smiled back, and I
give her a little wink.
So, hey,
you give her a little wink or something?
I didn't know. I just smiled. She smiled back.
Yeah.
No winks or anything. Just regular smile.
Yeah.
She smiled back. So I was over, and it seemed like at that time, as soon as I touched her and we got together, I have really no recollection of the evening, although I had a heck of a good time.
Yeah.
But I've had what I call dreams in this lack of thing, where I said one or two stupid things to her, like, I like to be alone. And I got that look from her.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I said, no, with you, of course. And then, would I be seeing you at the next dance? That's in September, but that's 3 months away. And the next question, is tomorrow too soon? So the next morning, we met in Newcastle.
Yep.
I had my bus fare on a monthly thing.
Yeah.
And we went to Phillips Grill, and I spent 9p on a soda with 2 straws.
Hey.
And that's my first date with her. And following that, it was just, we never,
Yes.
ever, we disagreed. She could be like if she had something on her mind.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we'd yell at each other, But never any loss in the 65 years of marriage. The biggest time I felt with her is in a few minutes before she died.
Mm.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
And what I thought was, it is nice if the mother and father can give security to the children to guide them, along the way, and to get them. I take advice to what to do afterwards.
Yeah.
For learn something deeper, for
Right.
instance, than school.
Yeah.
And we don't seem to have any casualties. Now, the other thing is I put in quickly, but suppose that your wife wants to be something as well.
Right.
So that's got to be worked out.
Yeah.
But my preference is that we're together right through.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah, 65 years of marriage it's a long time. That's great that you guys had a great
stopped because she died.
Yeah.
So
Well, I had this. Cameras are gonna time out here soon, so I wanted to ask you one more question before we wrap it up. And what advice would you give to someone? So I'm 28. What advice would you give to me if you could give me any piece of advice?
for yourself?
Yep.
Have you got a girl?
I don't.
Okay. Well, if you do find a girl when you find one, you'll know.
Yeah.
Basically, you have to be a suitor all your life, in a way. You have to, in a way, imagine that you're courting this girl,
Yeah.
and she's appreciating it,
Right.
One thing I mentioned more than once is the need for time. And I quote this, many of them, but we had a bishop came over from Kenya to speak, and it was cold. And we said, well, what do you find different? He said, well, over here, you've got lovely watches,
Yeah.
but where I come from, we have time. And that was very wise, because you need time in a marriage. You've got to have time when you can sit down and just lie down, hold hands.
Yeah.
And if nothing
Spend
comes
the
out,
quality time and
even if you don't do anything,
Yeah.
just have that, because something will crop up
Yeah.
and it'll be dealt with right away.
Yeah.
And time is very important. And also, just appreciate the girl
Yeah.
just as much you appreciate her when you first met her.
Yeah.
And that's now, when you first meet the girl, you can't take your eyes off her,
Yeah.
and you can't take your hands off her.
Yeah.
And then you get married so you can
Yeah.
be married.
That's awesome.
And of course,
Well-
we from sort of old-fashioned. It was better to get married than to live in sin.
Yeah. Very
And
true.
that's the thing. But just be, you are with your girl. You are basically the person that she can depend on, and appreciate what she does.
Yep. That's
And
awesome.
hopefully she will appreciate what you do.